Welcome to LSC. It's sports time. I'm your host, Bob HINTZ. Today we're on location at the NASCAR Sports Grill down here in the power plant, and we're doing interviews with a lot of people down here with the Gridiron legends with Mike Tomlin. And I have with me former Bethel Bruin, former Virginia Tech, and been drafted now with the Steelers, Chris Ellis. Glad to have you here, Chris.
Glad to be here.
This is a coup. But let's go back and talk. When you first started playing ball, you weren't as big as you are now. You were playing the rec league. Were you always enjoyed playing football? Was that the sport that you really wanted to do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as back as I can remember, all I wanted to do was play football. So that was definitely the biggest determination coming up.
All right, now, were you always a lineman, or did you carry the ball? Or?
Well, you know, being younger, like you said, not always being this size, I played a little bit of offensive tackle, tight end, wide receiver, defensive end, linebacker. So, and the younger rates, you play a little bit of everything. But as I got into high school, it was more defensive end and tight end.
Right. Now, who were some of your coaches you had in the rec league, and what league did you play in?
I played in North Hampton League.
Okay.
I played in North Hampton League. And Coach DeVan Hill was one of my coaches.
DeVan Hill, yes.
Yeah, DeVan Hill, yeah. I think he's out there at HU now. So,
yes.
But he was definitely one of the coaches on the rec league, and a big disciplinary guy, so learned it early.
But the fundamentals, did they really concentrate on fundamentals at that league?
Yeah, definitely. It was, the biggest thing, because they had to keep it simple, for kids with that short attention span, but developing us in the league and knowing, where they were located, what high school you were going to. That was the biggest thing for the kids, being excited about what schools we were coming up to, because, when we were younger, we were watching Ronald Curry and Iverson and those guys.
Right.
So being excited to, get in those schools and follow up those footsteps. So fundamentals was definitely big.
Well, that's what some of the coaches would tell me in the rec league. These guys don't play for the Tornadoes or for Northampton League. They're playing, I'm going to Bethel, or I'm going to Hampton or Phoebus or whatever.
That was the biggest bragging rights then.
Yeah. So when you made it to Bethel High School, and how was that experience like? Because now you're really moving to not only kids, some of them your size, some of them bigger, and a lot of them faster.
Definitely. Yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, we didn't have the best record while I was there, but it was definitely a humbling experience, because that's what made you work hard to, beat some of the stronger teams like Hampton and Phoebus at that time, and even Heritage.
Right. Now, I can remember watching a ball game when you run down a running back.
Right.
And I said to myself then, he could make it to the next level, because you had speed from the you were playing defensive line at the time. Did the defense really, okay, this is what I could really excel at?
Yeah, I mean, it was more of a natural instinct, and my thought process was I always wanted to hit instead of be hit. So I enjoyed tight end and scoring touchdowns, but it was definitely started for me, more the aggressive side in defense. I think I remember that game. It was Kickerton chasing down Alan Backus.
Yeah, I just blew my mind, because I'm seeing this big guy catch this little guy.
Right.
But the speed you had, which is remarkable, but you need that at the next level. But let's talk about some of the teammates you had when you were over at Bethel.
And Jimmy Williams came over there my 11th grade year, his senior year. And that was the best year we had there. So some of that talent, along with, like you said, Alan Back and some of those other guys we played against. And Coach Parker was our coach at the time. So, like I said, he was big on fundamentals also, as far as training us and having a discipline for us.
Now you go to Virginia Tech.
Right.
Now you're going to play for probably one of the best defensive coaches in the nation, Bud Forster.
Yeah.
They don't get much better, do they?
Not at all.
Is he very demanding?
Definitely. He lets you know that when he's recruiting you, how demanding he is. And I'm sure he looks for that, when you're in high school, he's looking to see if those guys he can mold into his system.
Right.
But the biggest benefit of that, like you said, they were known for defense. We had some key guys, Xavier DB, Vince Hall, other guys like that came out with me that, walked into the same on the campus the same day I did.
And you had Jimmy Williams up there.
He was already he was already there. So, definitely a comfortable fit as far as, guys being from this area, and then especially being known for defense, which worked for me.
Well, and I'm going to ask you this, and I don't know if you can answer or not, but it seems like there's an awful lot of good athletes that come from this area.
Definitely.
And not only the peninsula, I'm talking about the Tidewater, but a lot from the peninsula.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that was the biggest bragging rights coming up to, me and Vince used to get into it all the time, because we scrimmaged Western Branch and had some battles with those guys. So we definitely argue about what side is, the best side, but just in the whole area total, man. Not only in Virginia, but, statewide, we can make a lot of claim to a lot of, good athletes.
Well, and I don't know why somebody says, is it in the water? and I think it's in the coaching. I think the kids have got some natural ability, but don't you believe that the coaches get the best out of you?
Definitely, man. A lot of the time, you know, coaches are, you know, hometown guys also. So, you know, you get that hometown feel. It's not a lot of guys coming in from other programs or outside of the state. So, you know, you know them through the ranks. I knew Coach Parker before I even got to high school, you know, which is comfortable because he's developing you, you know, slowly on the way. I knew him in middle school coming up. My dad was friends with his family in Smithfield, you know, a long time ago before I even got here.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, it was definitely
there was a connection there.
Right. And that's the hometown feel that, you know, everybody has. Like, you know, if those guys don't make it or do make it, they always come back and, you know, able to give to those kids, and they, you know, it's that relationship factor. They can relate to them.
Right. So talk about what the feeling was like when you walk out Lane Stadium and that place is packed.
Right.
Well, what's that feel like?
Man, I haven't met a stadium that can match it yet. When the game is right, those Thursday night games, you know, and Saturday night games, you can feel it rumbling in the tunnel before you come out. You know, I always made it an issue to come out last because I wanted to feel everybody at their highest intensity. You know, they're playing Enter the Sandman before you come out. So as walking into the tunnel, you can see the crowd, you know, in the stadium already jumping and shaking the stands and stuff. So it was definitely a sight to see.
So you get the hair stand up on the
Oh,
back
man, I get goosebumps every time. That's how I knew I was ready to play. Anytime I didn't get goosebumps, it was going to be a long game for me.
All right, now, when did you become a full-time starter?
Full-time starter was midway through my sophomore year.
Right.
I was battling out through sharing a lot of time coming into my sophomore year. Had a good freshman year, but still had seniors in front of me. Right. So, you know, I had to battle it out, and due to injury, I was able to start, and they were happy with their production. So I started the last 6 games of that year. You know, and kept on going from there. I didn't look back.
All right, now you finish your college career and you get drafted.
Right.
All new ball game.
Dream coming true, but definitely a whole new ball game.
Well, and that's another thing. This is something you dreamed of as a kid,
right.
I'm sure.
Right, definitely. That simple sense of accomplishment. You know, you've worked all your life. You know, even coming up, you know, school is important, and I was able to graduate from Virginia Tech also, which you were proud of, but you knew this is what I wanted to do in my life. I wanted to play football. So that sense of accomplishment right there was nothing to compare. Talk
a little bit about the transition. Now you got a playbook that's, I don't know how thick, but it's a little different than high school, college.
Yeah, it definitely has more than a couple math pages in it. Definitely got to flip through it.
So what was the sessions like? Because I know you're on the field, but you spent a lot of time watching film and going over the playbook. Talk about that a little bit so people can understand what it is you're going through.
Yeah, coming into those rookie mini camps, you know, I kind of feel bad for the rookies this year, you know, due to the lockout, because you need those mini camps just to go through all the growing pains and the rough stuff, and you know how demanding the NFL is, because it's not, you know, you're not on scholarship. This is your paid job. So that's the first thing you really realize is not only the speed difference, but you know you're playing against grown men that are, you know, fighting for their livelihood, which is cool at the same time. But it definitely is, you know, it's a little different from watching it on TV.
All right. This thing has just been one of your dreams come true.
Definitely.
Talk about the Steelers. Can you talk about them?
Yeah, I was definitely thankful for Buffalo drafting me, but the Steelers organization, you know, is night and day compared to Buffalo. And once you see how they embrace you when you get there, you know, I got there about mid-season, and I was able to, you know, they were a well-oiled machine by then, you know, heading into the playoff stretch, and I got that chance to see how much work they put in and why they're as good as they are. So It was definitely a humbling experience, but at the same time, you look forward to, you know, being able to make the team and being under Coach Dick LeBeau, another defensive, you know, guru.
Wow.
You learn so much. You just try to take in as much as you can.
Talk a little bit about what you would say to youngsters about that's coming up, like the ones that's in the camp you had in the camp today. What would you tell them the things that they need to make sure that they align themselves with the right people, and just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we speak with them after the camp, you know, and sit them down and talk to them a little bit. And one of the things I reiterate is, you know, it's really the company you keep. You know, whether it's guys doing positive things, whether they're playing football or not playing football, you know, it's the positive energy that they're going to feed and let you know whether you're doing, because everybody at that age knows right from wrong. You know, it just comes down to making those decisions, you know, as you further your career. And so you find out, really, is this really what I want to do, or, you know what I'm saying, do I want to continue to be a knucklehead in school and not pay attention? So I struggled with that also going into my senior year, but as it got closer, you know, they got so many requirements with passing the test now and everything. You got to pass the clearinghouse to get in, you know, which is a big thing for those kids, because they don't realize it until the test is in their face that you need this to even go to the next level.
Right. Well, I appreciate you taking time coming in and talking to us.
I appreciate you having me.
Good enough. Stay tuned for our next guest.